Have you ever felt like you understand English, but when it's time to speak, your mind suddenly goes blank? You know the words. You've studied grammar. You've watched videos. But still, something feels stuck. Today, I want to show you a simple idea that quietly stops most English learners from improving, without them even realizing it. And once you see it, you won't unsee it. Most learners think the problem is vocabulary. So they learn more words. They make lists. They memorize phrases. But here's the truth. It's not the number of words you know. It's how your brain connects them in real time. Let me give you an example. Imagine you know these words. Go. To. The store. You understand all of them. But when you need to speak, you hesitate. You pause. You translate in your head. Why? Because your brain is not trained to assemble language fast enough. Let's talk about what actually happens in your mind. When someone asks you a question in English, your brain does three things. It hears the sentence. It translates it into your native language. It tries to build an answer. This process is slow. Too slow for real conversation. Native speakers don't do this. They think directly in English patterns. And that is the difference. Now here is the important part. You don't need to study more English. You need to change how you process English. Instead of translating, start recognizing patterns. For example, instead of thinking, I go to store, you should think, I go to plus place. This is a pattern, not a sentence. And once your brain starts using patterns, speaking becomes faster automatically. Let's practice. I will say a sentence slowly. Repeat it in your mind, not out loud. Focus only on the structure. I go to work every day. Now break it. I go to work every day. Again. I go to school every morning. Same structure. Different words. This is how fluent speakers think. Not word by word, but pattern by pattern. If you continue thinking in translations, you will always be slow. But if you start thinking in patterns, you will notice something strange. You stop searching for words. Words start coming automatically. And that is the moment where English stops feeling like a subject and starts feeling like a skill. Now let me ask you something important. Have you ever listened to hours and hours of English, but still struggled to speak when someone talks to you? If yes, you are not alone. And I'm going to explain why this happens, and why most learners waste years doing the wrong thing. Most people believe this. If I listen more English, I will automatically start speaking better. It sounds logical. But it's only half true. Listening helps you understand English. But understanding is not the same as producing language. There is a gap between passive knowledge and active speaking ability. And that gap is where most learners get stuck. When you listen to English, your brain is doing something passive. It recognizes meaning. It connects words. It understands context. But speaking is different. Speaking requires fast recall, sentence building, grammatical ordering, confidence under pressure. Your brain does not train this just by listening. It needs active practice. Think of English like this. Input equals listening and reading. Output equals speaking and writing. Most learners do this. 90% input, 10% output. And then they wonder why they can't speak. But fluent speakers do this. 50% input, 50% output. Or even more output focused. Because output builds speed. Here is what you should do instead of just listening. After every short listening session, pause and try to repeat the idea in your own words. Not word for word, but meaning for meaning. For example, listen, I went to the store yesterday. Then say, I visited a shop yesterday. Same meaning, different structure. This forces your brain to produce language, not just consume it. At first, this feels uncomfortable. You will pause. You will search for words. You will make mistakes. But this is exactly where learning happens. Because your brain is building new pathways. Comfort means no growth. Discomfort means progress. If you continue only consuming English, your understanding will grow, but your speaking will stay slow. But if you start producing English daily, even for 5 to 10 minutes, you will notice something surprising. Your speech becomes automatic. Not perfect, but faster, more natural, less translated. Every time you want to speak English, do you first say the sentence in your native language? Then translate it? Then try to say it in English? If yes, this is the exact reason you feel slow. Today, I will show you how to stop translating in your head. Not in theory, but in practice. Translation feels safe. It feels like control. But it is actually a delay system. Native speakers don't translate. They connect ideas directly to language. You don't need to remove your native language. You need to bypass it. When you think, I want water, then translate, then speak. You are doing 3 steps. But fluent speakers do only 1. Idea, then speak English. No middle language. Here is a simple training method. When you think something in your native language, try to say it in English in under 3 seconds. If you can't, simplify it. Example. Complex thought. I need to go to the store because I forgot something. Simplified. I need to go to the store. Speed matters more than perfection. Let's practice. Look at your surroundings. Say simple things. I see a table. It is cold. I am sitting. No translation. Only direct labeling. This trains your brain to connect reality with English. In real conversations, fluency is not about knowing more English. It is about reacting faster. And that is what we will improve next time.